So Red Dead Redemption came out with their trailer.
Yes.
Uh,
Spring 2018 release window. No date. No actual date.
yeah. I know you, like we talked about in the car, you and Ben were big.
And Dan too, actually.
Dan was too?
That's one of Dan's favorite video games. Not the online portion of it, because the online was janky as all hell then.
Yeah.
But you could see what they were going for, and
a lot of people love this game.
It is.
This is amazing.
If one were to make a list of the best games
of all time
of the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii generation, one might put this in their top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an awesome game. The story is great. Red Dead Redemption is by far the best video game that Rockstar Games has ever made. It's better than Grand Theft Auto 3.
Old words.
Better than 4. Better than San Andreas. Better than Vice City. I don't care what anybody says. It's better than Bully. Come fight me.
Never played Bully.
Red Dead Redemption is the best game that Rockstar has ever made. Ever. So when they talked about doing another Red Dead game, I got excited because I figured they would do it like they do the Grand Theft Auto games. Change the scenery, change the characters, change the thing. Like,
right.
Cool. And I got really excited because I was like, man, it would be so dope to do a Red Dead Redemption game during the Industrial Revolution. Like the last days of the horse riding cowboy going into, quote, the modern age, right? And I thought, like, that'd be a cool twist. But this seems like a fucking road adventure so far. Like going from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Like a trail.
It's a prequel to the last game that came out, where you play as a member of Dutch's gang. And for people who didn't play Red Dead Redemption 1, the whole premise is that you are a guy who was in this gang trying to get your freedom and get the government off your back by helping them take down this gang that you were once a part of. It doesn't seem like the character you played in the other game is in this game as of right now. I'm sure he is like you see him in the background kind of thing, especially if you're going to be a part of that gang. But my whole beef with this is I don't want to play as the bad guys. I really don't want to play as the bad guys. No, fuck that.
Not from a different perspective.
Don't want to play as the bad guys. Don't want to do fucking, like... With the Grand Theft Auto games, they always frame it... And maybe this is just me and it's semantics and you're kind of always playing as the bad guy in the Grand Theft Auto franchise. But at least they kind of wrap it with, I'm just trying to fucking get out. I'm trying to get away from this shit. I want... Like, in Red Dead Redemption, the guy you were playing was a guy who was a bad guy. But now he's not a bad guy. But he's getting pulled back into this bullshit because he needs to make a life for his family and needs to get it away from him. So he's doing something for the U.S. Marshals that he doesn't want to be doing, but he's doing it to get them off his back so he can have a regular, normal life for him and his family. And the coolest thing about that game is the last hour and a half of that game, when you play as him, you're doing mundane things like fucking herding cattle. And like it's the shit he wants to be doing with his life.
Right.
The game is over. You're doing regular everyday things. And trying to teach your son how to do these things so he can take over the ranch for you and things like that. It's fucking great. It's a great game. I would suggest playing it, man. It's so awesome. But yeah, like that's something that Rockstar does really well also. They take the most mundane things and make them fun. But you're by all rights, you're the good guy trying to make good. This is just like, you're in a band of fucking thieves and you're gonna rob trains and rob people. It's like, I don't want to play that. That's not a game I want to play. Anytime there's a game out that has moral choice where you can do the good thing or the bad thing, 7 out of 10 times I always go with the good thing, because there's never shades of gray. There's never like, oh, this is kind of a bad thing to do, but it's going to help out more people than it's going to hurt. But usually when I pick the bad thing, it's because there is that shade of gray. Like the Infamous franchise, they have a morality system that's like good or bad.
Right.
But sometimes it's like, sacrifice this area and it takes this contamination out and you can save all these other people, or you save nobody. So there's always shades of gray kind of stuff. But I just don't ever want to be the straight out bad guy. because I don't. That's not fun for me to be that guy.
I get that. Like, most people, I feel like would want to do the good stuff rather than be the bad. But I mean, you've read more than I have, but as far as the trailer goes, like maybe there's more to the gameplay than what we're getting.
They haven't really shown anything else or said anything else. They do what Rockstar does. They're gonna give you bits and pieces. Yeah.
Like maybe there is. I mean, with the game called Red Dead Redemption, maybe it's just another version with a different perspective. As far as like this guy who you're playing is probably like the hard as nails person. Finally realize he wants to leave, or maybe start his own gang, or I don't know. Yeah. There could be a bunch of options to it, but at the same time, like if how much people love the first one, like I don't see them disappointing anyone with the second one.
And this is also the first time that they've actually ever had like a direct sequel kind of thing. Even though it's not a sequel, it takes place before the last game, but it's called Part 2, which is fucking. That's number one, but it's taking a major aspect of the last story and telling you that story, which is.
So you still don't know the backstories of all these people,
right? Which is kind of what you're getting of that gang, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun game and a good game, and because Rockstar games are good, it's going to be a great game. I'm sure they'll have some kind of connection to the first, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you go through a 30-hour experience hearing how fucking terrible Dutch's gang is and how bad they are, and you're taking them out because they're pieces of shit, and then now guess what? You get to be that piece of shit. Like, no thanks, man. And again, this is just based on the trailer they released. There'll probably be more information, and I could be totally wrong and off base. But based on that trailer, it did absolutely nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. Other than, oh, wow, that looks pretty. But it did nothing for me to make me want the game.
That's interesting.
It just made me want to turn on my PS3. And, well, first I have to clean it out. Because if you think your PlayStation 4 was dusty, dude, my PlayStation 3 hasn't been turned on in like a year and a half. And it's just collecting dust. But it made me want to turn on my PS3 and play Red Dead Redemption again, which is a game I revisit every 12 to 18 months because I love it that much. Again, if someone were to say what are the best games of that generation, that would be on the list.
Yeah. There's someone I follow on social media, Casey McKinnon, I believe that's her last name. She platinumed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And
that's a hard platinum.
Yeah, and she has a presence on social media, of course. So they invited her over. Rockstar invited her over to do a little tour of it, and she took a few pictures. I just wanted to mention it because
that's pretty cool.
Kind of cool that game company like that would do something like that. I feel like there was more than I think there was others too that actually got that kind of a tour after they platinum. Because I've heard Red Dead Redemption I think is one of their games that's the hardest, isn't it?
It's pretty difficult, yeah.
To platinum. So I just saw this was whenever that game came out. And I saw other people kind of got a little mini tour of what they did, how they made the game and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool. I just thought I'd bring it up since we're talking about the game.
Red Dead Redemption has one of the best pieces of DLC ever to come out. It's a standalone story, so you can buy it separately from the game. You don't need the game to get this little side story. And it's called Undead Nightmare. And it's basically a zombie movie that takes place in 1903 or whatever.
I think I remember that.
It's so good. It's so good.
I remember that. I do remember that.
They changed the look of it, the filter, so they give the sky is kind of reddish, and in the main game you can capture and break horses, and they become your horses. In this game, you can capture and break the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's so dope, dude. It's one of the coolest things ever to come out, and it's a standalone DLC thing that you can buy. But I own a copy of that game digitally because I owned it physically, and then it got it real cheap on a PlayStation Plus sale or something like that, and it was the complete edition with Undead Nightmares. I was like, sweet, I'll just get this, and I played, and so I might actually go through that again because man, I love that game so much. It's such a good game.
Yeah, I hear that.
And like I said, this one did nothing for me.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. But
yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens when they've released more info when the time comes.